All right, guys, here we are. Rattler Vlog 21, episode 21. Got the holiday beard going on right now. It's pretty sad. All right, guys, we got a great guest coming up tonight, one which we've had a chance to see her play basketball for the past 5 seasons at the Snake Pit. One of the hardest working Rattlers, one of the most inspiring. She has an incredible story to tell. Let's get her on right now, everybody. Morgan Muir is coming on the vlog tonight. Hey, hey!
Hi.
There she is, everyone. Morgan Muir is joining us. I see when Patrick set it up, he said that he was working at getting you on. I thought you would have gone home for all of this craziness over the past few months. Why did you decide to stay?
I guess like I always knew after I graduated here and finished my 5 years that I wanted to stick around and work. And my parents wanted me to come home, but I knew if I went home, I didn't know when I'd be able to get back into the country. So I just decided to stay here. And my parents, they were sad, but they supported me in that decision.
So has it been difficult being this far away from home during let's be honest, what is a national crisis? I know you're a proud Australian, you love your homeland and everything about it. Watching the news and everything else, I mean, it couldn't have been easy.
Yeah, it's tough, especially when you kind of saw that the international flights were being grounded. Like that was a bit scary. But I have such great like friends and connections and support systems over here, so I knew be okay. But I still obviously miss my family.
What do you say to your mom
Oh, just
when you call her up with that final decision? You're like, oh, she's going to be so mad. How do I do this? How did that whole conversation go?
I think she knew that I was gonna stay, so she was kind of like, "Oh, okay, all right then." So,
Yeah.
I just said like, "I love you guys and I miss you guys, but I think I'm just gonna stick it out here."
Yeah. What's your hometown like? Tell me a little bit about where you grew up and what life was like. What's the name of the town? Ballarat?
Ballarat, yeah.
Yeah, I
So
can't believe I knew that. What's it like there?
I think it's like 110,000. So a bit bigger than Medicine Hat, and just over an hour from Melbourne. So it's not too big, but I thought it was just right growing up. I had I have three brothers, so we were heavily involved in sports. Sports is really big in Medicine Hat. I mean, sorry, in Ballarat.
Mhm.
And yeah, I just had a lot of friends. Actually went to a Catholic all girls school, so that was interesting, but had a lot of fun.
I bet it's incredibly cold there.
Yeah, winters don't get. I mean, we complain about it because we kind of think Ballarat is one of the coldest places, but I wouldn't say it drops below zero very often.
Okay, so I'm trying to like I can envision the shape of Australia. I see that pointy thing up top there, and I see the island down below where Tasmanian Devil from Bugs Bunny lives there. I understand.
Yeah,
Whereabouts is Ballarat, kind of in the overall landscape of Australia?
it's down south, so on the mainland still, but
Okay.
just above where that Tasmania is. And yeah, like I said, just over an hour from Melbourne, if you know where Melbourne is on the
Yep.
map.
Coastal town or
About an hour from the coast, so not too
oh,
far. Yeah.
is it true that in Australia one of the Christmas traditions is everybody goes to the beach? Is
I
that
think
true?
I think for some families it is. On Christmas Day, like I spend that with my family, but definitely like after Christmas, so in between Christmas and New Year's, we head to the beach too. Yeah.
See, for us here, we just think it's so strange. I mean, we equate Christmas with snow and Santa riding his sleigh, and being frigid outside, but staying warm by the fire. In Australia, it's totally different. I mean, you equate Christmas with the middle of summer and just kind of a big summer festival.
Yeah, barbecues. We always used to have water balloon fights and stuff too. So yeah, very different.
Does Santa wear like a big winter coat though?
um, I guess like in some of the images, yes, but we also put him in like board shorts, like swimming shorts and flip flops and that kind of thing.
Yeah. So what are you hearing from back home as far as COVID goes and your hometown? Are
They
they on
were
the right track now?
they were doing good, but I guess my state, the cases spiked a little bit again, so they put some of the restrictions back on to try and handle it. So hopefully it goes back down.
What does your family do back there?
My mum works for the Department of Education, so she's heavily involved in education. But she's also been in like um, different departments and stuff. And my dad has done a whole bunch of stuff too. He's also kind of been in education, then he went into like legal service work, and then now he's more health and safety stuff. So they kind of wear many hats.
Okay. And your siblings, are they older than you?
I had two older brothers and one younger brother. My younger brother is just in university. So he's in his first year of university, taking that pretty seriously. My
Hmm.
second oldest brother was an artist. So he's amazing. He's had some great exhibitions and stuff and really talented. And unfortunately, my oldest brother passed away in my first year. But yeah.
Oh, I'm so sad. I'm so
Oh, that's
sorry to hear that. It must be it must be kind of weird. I mean, having a younger sibling that's just starting this, post-secondary educational journey, and you have so much to share and so much great advice to give them, and then there's part of you that's probably that nurturing older sister that has to protect your little brother, right?
Yeah, I mean, I try to give him some advice, but he doesn't always listen. That's kind of the nature of brothers, I think. But yeah,
Did,
he's very independent and like he knows what he's doing too, so I don't have to nurture him too much.
did you try to convince him to come to Canada?
Oh yeah, yeah, my
You
whole family
did.
tried to. Yeah, my family quite likes Canada and they were kind of toying with the idea of moving over here for a little bit, but my little brother, he thinks it's too cold and the prairies aren't for him either.
Wow. So, yeah, your parents actually came to visit. How many times have you been here in the past 5 years?
Oh, quite a few times. Like they always try to, at least one of them tried to get out here for like my provincial playoffs. They came for Christmas one year to kind of test out what a winter Christmas would be like. But yeah, quite a bit. My dad even took some time off work and lived here with me for a little bit, which is awesome. Like actually having a parent over here was great.
Having someone aside from Jasmine with that accent that you're so familiar with, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But there's actually like when I go to Banff and stuff, there's a lot of Australians around.
Yes. Well, even around here, though, I mean, I'm sure you've probably met a number of people. I
Yeah, I've
mean,
run into some, yeah.
you turn on the radio in the morning and you hear an
Yeah,
Australian dude talk on the air. That must be like totally. Have you
it was
have you
kind of
ever
surreal when
have you
I
ever run into him and met him at all?
not in person, no, but it is nice to hear his voice on the radio, and it kind of made me feel like I was at home.
Yeah. So here in Canada, um, we have a few distinct accents that we can pick up on. Actually, you know what? Maybe not. I think there's only really two accents in Canada. There's like the far, Atlantic or the Newfie accent, and then there's kind of the rest of us. When you just hear an Australian talk, can you kind of pick up where they're probably from?
Sometimes like kind of South Australia almost sounds a bit more English, and like over to Western Australia, it's a slightly different. So not they're not too different, but I hear like slight things in the way they pronounce some words.
Okay. That's awesome. Do you study your family history and your genealogy and kind of that sort of thing? I mean, I know me personally, it's definitely something that I take a lot of interest in, tracing back my family coming to Canada in the 1700s. Is that something that you've ever had a chance to do?
Yeah, like I'm a proud Aboriginal person from Australia, so
Okay.
a lot of knowledge there. My grandmother's an elder in residence at Monash University, so she's always teaching us about our family lines and where we're from. And then my grandfather on my mother's side is also he's Indian, but he grew up in Fiji.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. And so growing up Aboriginal, I mean, here in Canada, we're all too familiar with some of the struggles that our Indigenous peoples face.
Hmm.
I'd imagine that there are many issues in Australia as well that Indigenous people are coping with, and trying to achieve, fairness and just equity and all that, right?
Yeah, we have. It's very interesting, actually. The more I look into it, the more similarities I see between First Nations, Métis, and Inuits people's experiences in Canada and how they almost mirror kind of our experiences in Australia. And yeah, like you said, a lot of the struggles that we face because of colonialism and that kind of thing. Yeah.
Poverty and just all kinds of things,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, a lot of like overrepresentation in the justice system and mental health issues and achievement gaps. So, working really hard to make sure that we can make our people as successful as we know they can be.
Okay. Is that maybe one of your goals one day is to go back home and try to
Oh,
really change the culture and gain more acceptance? Is that something that you'd like to see yourself do someday?
I wouldn't say change the culture, but just making sure that people know that you can be successful and be proud of your culture. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
just want to go back and be a role model. And the field that I'm in, I'm like psychology and child counseling. So I want to make sure that I can go home and help my people.
Excellent. That is so cool. All right. So, by the way, everyone, we're talking to Morgan Muir, as you can see, number 8 for the Rattlers. I mean, I could probably go on and on about all of her accomplishments as a Rattler and, multi ACAC All Star, and a trip to the Nationals and everything else. But, here we are now. You're a few months out of your college basketball career. Um, I mean, this would be the off season for you. Has it really sunk in that your competitive basketball days are history?
Well, it's interesting because I can actually go home and play. So my plan is to go home and play in the high levels of club basketball. So I'm a little different compared to other people that finish up at the college because I know in Canada there's not a whole lot of opportunities to play at a high level.
Hmm.
So for me right now, I'm just kind of taking a break and it's kind of liberating not having to practice really hard for off season, like during off season to prepare for a season. So I get a bit of a break, but yeah, I do want to go home and play.
Okay, so back home, aside from basketball, what other women's sports? Is volleyball a thing back there? And what else? What are some of the things that you played growing up?
I played netball. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
Never heard of it.
When I try to describe it to people, they kind of, it's a combination almost of basketball and handball. So it's like you have a bigger ball, but you can't run, you can't dribble. You have certain positions that you can go on the court. So a bit different than basketball, and it has some similarities to, yeah, handball.
Okay, so that's a sport you played as a kid, and
Yeah, I grew
you
up
were
playing
passionate.
basketball and netball, and I loved it. Actually, last summer when I went home, I played netball for Dunstown Netball Football Club, so that was awesome to get back and do that because I don't really get an opportunity to do that over here.
Wow, that's so exciting. What is the stereotype of Australians that is completely wrong? Like it's just you look at it and you're like, we don't say put another shrimp on the bobby. We just
That's
don't
the
say
big
that.
one. Whenever I see people, they always like to whip that out. And I'm like, we don't even call them shrimp, we call them prawns. Like, yeah,
Really,
that's
there
funny.
you go.
People
Do you,
always
do you, do you hate it when Canadians try to replicate the accent?
yeah, like I know that they're just interested in the accent, but it gets a bit tiring. Actually, I was
Yep.
at Subway the other day and I was ordering a sandwich and I was saying, "Oh, can I have some tomato? Can I have some cucumber?" And in the background, I heard someone like repeating everything I said in my accent, like tomato, cucumber. And I was like, "What?" And I turned, it was some random guy I'd never met before, and he was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to do that." But yeah, I get
It,
a lot.
it gets old. I'd imagine it gets old pretty quick. All right. So I asked one of your former teammates to share their impressions or a story about Morgan Muir. Now, I'm going to read this directly, and you have to tell me who texted it to me.
Okay.
Okay? All right. Uh, Morgan Muir. It's funny that sometimes we have to clarify what her and Jasmine are talking about because sometimes they refer to different names for things than what we do. Like the gym and workout rooms, they have different names for so that we always have to clarify something to what they mean so that we're all on the same page.
Mhm.
That's probably pretty vague. It's probably going to be tough to tell who had texted that.
Was it
That
Ree?
Look at you. Well done. Rhiannon Ware. Rhiannon Ware. So this past season, what a team. I mean, it seemed like the cohesiveness, togetherness, it seemed like you girls just really loved being around each other on and off the court. Um, was this your favorite team of all this last year?
I think like I can't say that I have a favorite team just because each team and my role on those teams have been so different. But this was it was a different year, something that I really enjoyed just because I was the fifth year player and we had a lot of young people in, and it almost was the opposite to when I was in my first year. Oh, sorry, not the opposite, very similar because we had a lot of rookies, and then this year we had a lot of rookies and second year players. So, but instead of being that rookie, I was the vet, so I was like the Kathy or the Megan Getz of the team. So being in that role was very different, but I still really enjoyed it. And it was awesome to kind of try and help those younger girls along too.
What was your rookie year like? Was there any rookie treatment? Did you like just? I know it's 5 years ago, but it's what were your thoughts on that season? Just coming to a new country and just new everything.
I absolutely loved my rookie year. The girls on that team became my best friends, lifelong friends, and they were so welcoming and supportive of me coming like and being in Canada too. Yeah, lifelong friends and had so much fun. All I can remember is working really hard in the gym and having a lot of fun as well. Um, but yeah, we some rookie treatment, like the usual things where rookies have to take, the med kit and jersey bag. We had our little initiation, which I probably shouldn't talk too much about, but just fun stuff. No, I really love those
Yeah,
girls from my rookie year.
yeah, that's good. Favorite place to play in the ACAC aside from the Snake Pit?
Oh, that's a good one. Oh, I don't know. I quite like Sate.
Why is that? Just nice, beautiful locker rooms and everything, or
It's a really
crowd energy?
really nice gym. I like going to Calgary too. Being in the big city kind of reminds me of going to Melbourne back home. Um, and we've just like we played our provincials there. That was the year that we won the silver medal and got to go to nationals. So just like good memories of the state. And we've had some really great competitive games with those teams too throughout the year. So yeah, just like state.
Yeah. Okay, so you're on a road trip and the girls win, but the guys lost terribly. What is that like on the bus when you guys are you just feel like celebrating that sense of accomplishment? Meanwhile, you don't want to feel like you're rubbing it into the guys. What is that like when half the bus is excited and half are just pissed off at the world?
We're excited and we're happy and we talk to each other, but obviously we're usually pretty close with the guys' team, so we hurt for them too. Like it sucks when they lose,
Yeah,
um, but it also doesn't take away from our win either.
sure, I bet. I bet. And so the on the road, the hotel experience, do you have the same roomie? Is it to a room or do you squeeze another one in there or how does that typically work?
It kind of depends on the year and how many people are on the team. And like for me, I like in my younger years, I would have to like share a bed and stuff because I was a rookie in a second year. But then as you get older, you get your own beds and usually you put with just one other person. So it kind of depends. We try to switch around at the start of the year to make sure that we get to know the new players coming in. But then kind of towards the end of the year, you start having kind of regular people that you room with.
Do you have any funny or fun hotel stories that have happened over the past 5 years? Just weird
Oh,
things that might have happened in a hotel.
I just remember one time in my rookie year, we were actually at playoffs, so provincial playoffs, and I was sharing a room with Dragana. Love her. She's
Okay.
Serbian, and I just remember walking into the room one time, and the bathroom door was shut, and she had a Serbian music playing really loud and singing, and I just laughed because that's such a Drake's thing to do, and just a yeah, funny memory.
Serbian music. That's hilarious. What do you listen to? What are some of your favorite Australian performers that maybe we haven't even heard of before? Are there any?
Yeah, I quite like alternative music. I listen to most things, honestly. I'm not a huge fan of country, which was a bit of a culture shock when I came here. But I suppose one of my favorite bands from back home would be Ocean Alley. I really like them.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know, kind of a never been asked that before.
See, I would have thought Keith Urban,
Oh no,
but if you're not a country fan, not even like is Keith Urban even big back home?
yeah, I think he is big because he's Australian, and there are people that listen to country back home. I'm just not really one of
Just not
them.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Morgan Muir joining us right now. Time now for show and tell,
Oh
where
yeah.
she's going to find something in the house there that has got either a cool story to it or just a deep personal meaning. So, what do you have for us today?
So, I have this book. It is a photo album of the trip where I went to do the West Coast Trail in BC. So it was after my third year, and I was actually supposed to be going home after my third year. And our assistant coach, Rob Grisnich, he approached some of us and said, "Hey, like kind of as a send off, do you want to go do the West Coast Trail?" And he'd done it before, and we thought, "Oh, what a great opportunity!" And personally, I hadn't done a lot of hiking or camping growing up, so when I did this trail, I didn't really know what I was in for. But yeah, so it's this book, and I went also with Kennedy Weary and Rachel Shervin, who are other alumni players.
Yeah.
So it has some great photos of like us on the trail, um, and some beautiful sights and stuff. And it's really meaningful to me because, like I said, I hadn't really done anything like that before. And I
Hmm.
thought I'd be okay because, college athlete, like I'm pretty fit. But it was honestly one of the most physically demanding and mentally demanding things I've ever done. And there were times where I'm just like, oh, I wish I could just like, walk off and, just leave it. But I'm really glad that we finished it. We met some great people from all over the world on the trail. And I was amazed by how nice everyone was and how everyone just if you were running low on something, then some people you hadn't even met would come over and be like, "Oh, I heard you were running low on I don't know some gas. Here, have our spare one." So
Yeah.
it was great, and we met two guys from Seattle. They were awesome, and like our trip plan was go do the West Coast Trail and then go down to Seattle, watch a Mariners game, some WNBA games. And so when we met these guys, they became like super close friends. They were almost like uncles, and they said, "Well, don't waste money on a hotel. Like, come stay with us and our families." And so yeah, they brought home the four of us, sorry, to their wife and kids and introduced us, and we're kind of like, yeah, we met these guys on the West Coast Trail, and now they're gonna come check us. So yeah, it was awesome.
Ah, that is so cool. So, what are your plans for the future then? Now, I mean, here you are. You've decided to stay in Canada during COVID. Um, Finding work. Like, are you allowed to find work here, or what's the status there?
Yeah, so I just applied for my post graduation work permit, so that'll allow me to work in Canada. And it's being processed currently, but it should be, fingers crossed, all good. I
Yep.
think I did everything well, but I did get a job for the school year, so I'm allowed to work full time while that permit's being processed too. So yeah,
Congratulations.
thank you very much.
So, when basketball starts this January,
Fingers
are we
crossed.
gonna are we gonna see you at the snake pit a lot? Are you gonna come and volunteer at the scorekeeper's table the way Kennedy does, or do you think that it's time to just separate a little bit and it might be too tough to be there this quickly?
No, actually, I'm going to be an assistant coach, so
What?
you'll see me a lot.
Wow. Hey, that is big news. That is breaking news for the vlog here, isn't it?
Yeah, so Clayton approached me and asked if I'd be interested in helping with him and G and Courtney and kind of focus with the point guards especially and kind of try to help those young point guards coming through. So I said yes, and yeah, so I'm going to do it.
Perfect, right? Because I mean, you are going to miss basketball, but being there at the practices, being there in the games, you know, you're down by a few points, and Clayton's going to look at you, and you're going to be like, "Nope, can't do it. Sorry." You know.
It's
Uh,
a different role for sure. Yeah.
yeah. All right, everyone. Once again, we've been talking to Morgan Muir, number 8 for Rattlers women's basketball. It's been so exciting watching her over the past 5 years. Congratulations on a sensational career and all that you've accomplished. Send our love to your family back home in Australia, although they're probably watching this right now. Who do you want to say hi to right now?
I don't know if they're watching because my parents don't actually have Instagram, so I don't know.
Wow. Okay,
Yeah.
what time is it right now back home?
I
If
think
it's
it's like the middle of the day, I think. So
Oh, perfect.
yeah, but they'd be at work. So
And
like,
it's
hi, mom and
Friday.
dad, and
Yeah.
like grandma, grandpa, nan and papa, my cousins and stuff that are watching. Yeah, everyone. Hello, miss you all, and I love you all.
Oh, that's great. All right. So, knowing Sean at work, he's the coworker I have from Australia. Uh, when he goes to the mall and he turns his vehicle off, his vehicle is in. We call it something totally different than you do. In fact, whenever he refers to it as this, I'm like, that's amazing. What do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't know, like a
The
parking.
car park.
Oh, the car. Oh, yeah, yeah, car park.
We're like, no, it's a parking lot.
Oh, you don't call it car park? I didn't even
No,
notice that. Oh,
5 years, Morgan. 5 years.
yeah, car park. Yeah, car
The
park.
car park. All right. All the best. Have a great summer. Congrats
Thank you.
on the job, and we'll see you at the Snake Pit this winter. It's going to be great to see you back there. I think it's in general after all of this stuff, it is going to be good just to set foot in there again, isn't it?
Yeah, it's gonna feel really good, and my heart breaks for the girls coming, like playing this year. Like I'm really lucky that I got to finish up when I did and didn't have to deal with all this stuff. So yeah, it'll be good
Hmm.
to get back in the gym, even just to practice will be great.
Even that last, well, the ACAC conference championships, right? I mean, there was more and more cases that were coming up in Calgary, and like it was. I think everything was canceled like the next week.
We were so lucky. Like I looking back on it, I got to play my last home game in my gym with my parents in the stands. Like
Could
I
you
was
imagine? Could you imagine if it would have been canceled
oh, I would have been
just before?
I would have probably cried, and
Yeah,
I feel really bad for those girls that thought they were going to go to nationals, especially fifth years that thought they still had their last games to play. So
yeah,
yeah, crazy times.
yeah. All right. All the best. Thank
Okay,
you for
thank
joining
you.
us tonight. We appreciate it. Great to see you again.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
All right. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.
All right.